Okay. Okay, recording has been started. Okay, so in the last session we talked about the general idea about the GCP. Okay, so now we will do actual demo from today onwards. Okay, so in GCP, if you want to learn GCP, you have to at least have this kind of links with you so that you can get started with the GCP. So basically, with the free tier, you can start on create your own free tier account. Then you once your account is getting created, you have to go to portal, and then from there on you have to create your own resources. And then also you have to make sure about pricing part also. So the link I'm also given here or pricing. You have to understand what are the pricings of the VMs and other services. Then the products. So what are the offerings from the Google? Google has given a lot of offerings, but there are particular areas, and you to understand what is your use cases, and based on that you can take the products. And then Google also give you the link about solutioning. So basically, when the Google has launched this cloud, right? So that cloud has a wider range where you can use this cloud in the retail business, in a marketing business, even though in healthcare, finance. So based on your requirement, they have given us what in what industry you can use this solution or cloud. Okay, and then if you want to rather than using the portal, if you want to execute commands remotely, then you should have a SDK. Okay, that is a toolkit, command line toolkit, which need to be installed in your machine, and from there by using this tool also you can execute a command. And then documentation is that you can get all the GCP documentation on the one link over here. Okay, and then so earlier I told you that GCP is more developer friendly. So basically whatever action you perform on the portal at a backend, nothing but the API call happening or to the servers. So these APIs we will talk about today. Okay, so let me move ahead with the demo. Okay, so today we are talking about the Google Compute Engine. Okay, so we'll try to cover this. These are the points when I show demo about a VM launching, features, then SDK, APIs, image creations, disk snapshots, a golden image, and then template. We'll try to cover this. Okay, so let me go back to the portal. Okay, so when you log into the portal, you have to go to the Compute Engine, and then you can click on VM instance. Once you click on that option, this screen will be pop up. Okay, over here you can just click on create. So there is a form. Once you click on create, there is a form which you have to fill up. Okay, so we'll talk about that. So then for today's example, I'm going to create a web server, for example. Okay, web server 01, and then I given this name. So you need to understand that the name of the server is permanent. Once you give the name of to this VM, you cannot change it. Okay, similar thing I have seen in the Azure as well. In Azure also, once you give a name to the any VM, you can't change it. Okay, but in AWS you can change the name of the server. Okay, so this is a when you're providing a name, you have to make sure that you are providing the right name, and so because that cannot be changed further. And then a label is just for identification, that for what purpose you are going to, what you want to show here. For example, I'm just giving the name owner. Okay, one more thing is that if I use any case, these are the, you only use a lower case. If you use a higher if you use the uh, a capital letter, it won't allow you, it will give you the error. Okay, so you have to use, always you have to use lowercase here. Okay, and save it. Then now I given the label. Now I have to select a region. For right now, I am just selecting the region is the US East. Okay, and then once I select region, I have to select a zone as well. So in every region, there is a 3 zones. So for example, I'm taking a zone B. And then if I go further, now I have to decide whether I have to use which type of VM I have to select. So normally in our case, we are going to use a general purpose. But if you have some kind of software which is going to install in your VM, and the software is very, the software takes the more memory, then you can go for memory optimize. So SQL is the best example. In SQL case, you have to use a more memory based VMs. Okay. So if you are, your VM having the higher heavy memory workload, then you can go for memory optimize. Then they also given a computer optimize. Again, if your VM has a more compute intensive workload, then you can go ahead with that. Okay. So if I want to understand how to choose that, so I am just taken a table over here to show you that. Okay. So if you see this table, so in GCP there is no much instance type as of now, as of today. So if I take an example here, is that the E2 and N2 and N1 is more kind of general purpose they called. Okay. M2, M1 with the initial letters, you can understand it is the memory optimized, and C2 it is computer optimized. So if I am going, if my plan is to launch a web server, then definitely they have mentioned that if you are launching a web server, application server, or any kind of back office operation, then definitely go with the E2. Or if you want a higher version, you can go for N2 or N1, depending upon your requirement. Okay. But if you want to go for high memory utilization, like database, like SAP, HANA, definitely you can go for M2 and M1. And then if you are you have a requirement, like you want to use a ultra high performance compute intensive workload, then definitely you can go for C2. Okay. Again, with every version, with every instance type, your cost will get increased. That you have to understand. Okay. Let me go back to my demo screen. Sorry. Okay. Okay. So one more thing to notice here, that in GCP there is a soft limit and hard limit. What is the soft limit? The soft limit in the sense, in one account I can only use 32 CPUs. Okay. So for take an example, that I have 8 VMs, each VM having the 4 CPU. And now my requirement is that I have to create another VM. Okay. With the 2 CPU, for example. So it will not allow me. Why? Because there is a soft limit, a default soft limit is placed, which is not allowing me to create another VM. So, but the soft limit in the sense, you can, if you want to increase the your capacity or limit, then you can open a ticket with the Google, and then you can increase the your quota of the CPUs. Okay, that is the one thing. Then of course with that there is also hard limit. Hard limit in the sense, once when I create any project, okay, basically this is my project, GCP certification is my project. So in this project, I only create a 5 BPC. Okay, there is a hard limit. I cannot create more than 5 BPC. Okay, then maybe you will ask me how many VMs you can create. So again there is a hard limit. That so see, every company has different kind of VM requirement, but what GCP told them, or which GCP has mentioned in their documentation, that you can create up to 15,500 VMs in your region. Okay, or in your account. That is a hard limit. You cannot create more than that. Okay, so you have to understand that. But I don't think anybody using that much of VMs, but still I'm telling you, because that is a hard limit they have to set. So they have set that hard limit. Okay, so for example, now I will just take a E2. Again, I have to N2, N1 generation, but for today's example, or for today's demo, I'm just taking a E2 version, right? And then again, I have to choose in E2 what I getting, the micro, small, medium. Okay, I will go with the medium, or even I can go with the small also. It's fine with me. There is no issue. And one more thing is that when you starting to create a VM, at the right hand side, you can see your cost. Okay, so when you are selecting this VM, if I change my VM, now you can see the $12 monthly basis. If I go to medium, then you can see the cost, $24 per month. So depending on your instance, depending upon your instance type, your cost will change. Okay, that you have to remember always. Then, so we'll go slowly to the next option over here. So now I think GCP or in this option, they also giving you option to choose a GPU. GPU stand for graphical processing unit. So in some of the, in your example, you want to develop the gaming application. The gaming application require a higher graphics. Okay, so you can go for that option. So basically in your VM, you can install the graphics drivers. Okay, and through the VM you can also play games or you can develop the games. Okay, but again there is a one more catch here, is that it is a soft limit. So there is a no GPU you will get directly as a initial level. If you, because initially for every account they given a 0 GPU. If you want to take a GPU for any VM, you have to again open the case and to take the that number of limit of GPU for your account, and then only you can use the GPU. Okay, any question, you please let me know, interrupt me. Okay, and then the next point about a confidential VM service. Okay, so over here is that every company, every project, or not project, I would say company, every company has some kind of requirement. They want to get actually assurity from the cloud. How can they make sure that their VM is secure? Okay, so this is the one kind of feature the Google has introduced, like confidential VM service. So what they are trying to tell you here is that if you take this option, right, so we will not touch your VM directly. Okay, because your VM will be encrypted with the keys and Google will not access to it. So basically, if I choose this, then I have to get this option again. But I think there is some additional cost, not upfront, but after some time, after a monthly basis, you need to pay some additional money to the Google. Okay. Then the another option is container. Okay, container. I think, I hope everybody aware about what is the container. So if when I'm creating the VM, if I want to place container inside my VM, I can do that. Okay, Google has given that option. Okay, but again there is a one criteria here, or there is a one limit over here, is that you cannot create two containers. You only create one containers. If you want to create multiple containers inside the VM, then you are not allowed. Then what I can do? Then in that case, you have to go for other service, that is they call Kubernetes service. Kubernetes Compute Engine. Okay, that you have to go to that service, and you can get multiple containers. But with one VM, you can only get one container. That is a limit they have given to you. Okay. Now we'll talk about the operating system. It's a very important part over here. Okay, so by default you can get this Debian operating system. It is a free of cost. There is no need to pay additional any fee for that. Okay, but if I want to change it, what I can do? I can click on this change, and then I have to go to the another option where I can go to the public image. Okay, public image in the sense the images which are available in a marketplace. Okay, somebody called the marketplace Google Marketplace, also Google Launcher, Cloud Launcher. Okay, so basically, if you want to take an image, you don't have any kind of image with you, right? Then you are a new customer, or you are a first time visitor to the Google account. Then what I will do, I will go to this Debian OS, go to this operating system public images, and I can choose what image I want from this. Okay, this is a family. Okay, you have to select one family over here. After that, this is a version you can select from that. So under Debian, I can get this two version 9 and version 10. Okay, now and by default you can get 10 GB of space for your OS disk. And then custom image. Custom image is an image which is available under your project. If you want to create some kind of images for future use, then of course you are welcome. You can create your own image and you can use that image. Okay, see, for example, I already created the image, but I can create a new one. I mean, in this demo, see, you can select this image and you can create your own VM by using this image. Okay, but I don't want to use right now. I don't have any plan to use that. So okay, let me go here. Then I can go for snapshots. Okay, snapshot, again similar thing. I can use a snapshot. If I create any snapshot in that region, I can use that snapshot to create the VM. The option also they are given to me. And then if you have any disk available, then that disk can be used for to creating the VM. Okay. 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 Select. Fine. Now what else? Okay. Now the next point here is that about the firewall. Okay. So over here now, if you going to install any kind of any kind of website inside the VM, then I think you need some kind of port open, right? 80 port, right? So basically you can make a check mark over here and the port 80 will be open, as simple as that. Okay. Then if you go further in this, okay, over here now in the manage under the manage one, you can get a multiple option over here. We can just take one by one, but before that I wanted to go to next step, the security. Okay, in security also if I, because in the entire process I'm not getting any user, but for example I want to create a user, then I can create a user by using the SSH key. So I don't have SSH key right now. I have to create it. So what I can do, I can just show you over here. For example, I have downloaded the Puttygen. I can open the Puttygen. I can generate one key. Okay, and then I can give some name, Sagar. Okay, I'll copy this entire key from here, and I can paste it over there. By using this, I can create my own account also. So this key will help me to create a user with those. When the user login by this name, this key will be used. Okay, and we'll move further to disk. Right, in the disk, I have to mention whether I need to want to this to be written once this instance get deleted, or I also want to delete this disk when instance get deleted. So I have just selected checks. That means when I delete my instance, this also get deleted over here. Okay. Then after that, the device name. So basically, whatever name you choose to create your VM, with the same name your disk. So when your disk get created in this process, the disk has also having the same name. If you want to put a custom name, you can go ahead and you can put your own custom name also. So there is no limit, right? Then if for example I have to add the disk, right? I can add a new disk over here as well. Okay, I can click over here and then I have to put that information, right? So basically you get three type of disk. Okay, this is a new one come up, but standard passenger disk means your managed disk. Okay, which is having the low cost and low IOPS. Okay, SSD of course SSD having the higher value and higher performance. Okay, and local SSD also you can use it, but this having the again higher performance. Okay, but you cannot store data over here. If you reboot the instance, the data stored onto this disk will be get deleted automatically. Okay, I can just show you that also here. So for example, when I select the standard persistent disk and I have size, I am going to take a 500 GB. If I want to increase to 1000, for example, see the difference. The ops limit can change. The throughput get changed, right? For my managed disk. If I go for SSD, you can see the change below. See now my ops getting changed is up to 15,000 ops I will get. Read ops I can get. Write ops I can get 9,000. Okay, but now see the magic. If I click the SSD, it is too huge. Okay, so if I select this, you can see this performance. It's 1,000 like 1,70,000 read operation I can do perform over here, and 90,000 write operation I can perform over here. So with the depending on this type also you can change, or you can take different disk. Okay, so for example I am not changing yet, taking an additional disk over here. I'm just for example. Okay, I can just delete it. Okay, I'm just going with a normal 10 GB of hard disk for as of now. Okay, then networking. In networking, I'm not going to do anything here right now. I am just taking a default VPC. Okay, so default VPC, the IP get allocated to my VM automatically. I'm not going to do any kind of changes over here. Okay, I'm keeping it is as it is. Okay, when default VPC, the port will be allowed automatically. So there is no need to open any port also. Okay, and then the last is a sole tenancy. The sole tenancy in the sense, if any customer want to use customer want to use his own hardware, or he want uh, 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 what I can say, is dedicated, he want a dedicated VM or dedicated a host for himself only. He don't want to share his host to with any other customer. Then in that case, he can create his own host, hardware host, and on that he can create the VMs. Okay, that is also option provided by Google to the customer. Okay, now let me go to management. Okay, it is interesting here. So in the management also, uh, if uh, if I choose this, right, then if I can't delete my VM, once my VM is getting created, it will not allow me to delete my VM till this option is enabled. If I want to delete my VM, I have to again open this VM. I have to uncheck this option, and only then I can delete my VM. Okay, this is security purpose. If somebody by mistakenly delete the VM, so that should avoid that kind of scenario. This option given by the Google to enable it. Okay, then reservation is just like a reservation where you can use the existing reservation when creating VM instance. So they have just given a normal, if you want to use it or not use it. Okay. Then automation script. Automation script in the sense, while VM is getting launched, I want to install any kind of a website. Okay. So for today's example, I'm just taken one a startup script. Okay. I just paste the startup script over here. Okay, and then I will show you once the VM get launched, you can come to know about it. Okay, and then metadata. Metadata again is additional, what I can say, it provide you the additional details to the VM. So for example, I want to filter my VM using metadata. So I can put a, like example, I can put a key like environment and dev. So if I want to see how many VMs are getting created under the dev environment, by using this metadata, I can easily identify that. Okay. After that, under availability policy, right? Uh, they will also ask you, you want to use this VM for long-term purpose, or you want to you want to use this VM for only short-term purpose. Okay. If I make it on, then I'm only allowed to use this VM up to 24 hours, not more than that. Okay. So as of now, there is no plan. That's why I'm just making it off, right? Then we are moving to the next option, on host maintenance. If so again, I hope everybody are aware about how this cloud is set up, right? So basically in data center, there is a one kind of server that could be a rack server, that could be a tower server or a blade server. So in one blade server, they install any kind of virtualization or operating system. Like take example of VMware. So after installing a VMware, I can get an option to launch or to create up to 1,000 VMs under the on or the one hardware, right? So tomorrow example, I want to update the firmware on my hardware VM, hardware machine. What I can do in that case? So what will happen with the VM? VM will just stop automatically if I upgrade my firmware on the blade server, for example. So for that purpose, what they have told you, you can keep this option migrate VM instance. So for example, if I am doing some activity on one hardware machine, automatically all the VMs running on that hardware on that host automatically get migrated to other host. Okay, so that's why I have to keep it option, because I don't want to make it terminate. Okay, there are two options. Either you want to terminate the VM or you want to migrate the VM. And I want to migrate the VM because there is of course a load running on that VM. That's why I want to make it on. Okay, and then automatic restart. Okay, so in case, take example, in data center there's a power failure, or data center any kind of issues, any cooling issue, any kind of issues like so software issues, any kind of issues happen, and what do you want Google, what do you want Google to take action on that? So you can tell Google, I want you can restart my VM in that case if any hardware failure happen on the data center. Okay, so by using that, I will my VM automatically move to the next host, okay, which is the available host, or it will move to the other region as well, or sorry, other zone as well. Okay, so these options are given additional to you so that you can plan out your VM accordingly. Okay, any question guys, anyone regarding these features, any open questions, please let me know. I'm going to create this now. Okay, I'm take it no question. Okay. Okay, so so what I'm telling you guys is not like I have to do it every time. I can only directly even click on create also, my VM will get create. Okay, so this is additional feature I'm telling you because that is very important for long-term purpose. Okay, now I'm going to create my key, creating my VM, sorry, my VM. Okay.
Sagar, we have question.
Yeah, tell me.
Query is there.
Yes.
You have created that key. That key is for the encryption or for what purpose we have created the key?
Uh, Sorry, which key we are talking about? Login purpose. See, I'm launching a
Yes.
I'm launching a Linux VM. Okay, so in the Linux VM, let me hold on. Okay, okay, just give me 1 minute. Okay, so for example, without doing anything, right? Without doing anything, I can create the VM also. No need to create a, no need to put anything here. Okay. In this case, the account, I will show you how it works, right? I'm just going to show, I'm going to show you that as well. So now I'm just doing it as a manual. Okay. I'm just going to create it, for example. So accessing the any VM, Linux VM, you need a key. Okay, and after taking a key, you need to log in, because if you take example of AWS, in AWS, when you launch any VM in AWS, they give you the PAM key. By using the PAM key, you log into the VM, and after that you create your own account into that inside the VM. Okay, so see, this is the example now. Okay, this web server getting created. Okay, now I want to access this VM, for example. What I can do here, I haven't created any account right now. It is automatically, it will allow me to log into the VM. Okay, see, you can see the name right now. If you see the name right now, it is NTMS-CT. So this is my Gmail ID actually. It is getting it. So by using this ID, it is allowed me to log into the VM. I haven't created any kind of key right now. Okay, but still it is allowing me to do that. Okay, so get etc password. So see, now if you see the last line over here, so these are the all user IDs you can see over here. Okay, so these are default user IDs. But when I launch this VM, actually I don't have any user account. So what it does, this VM taken my Gmail ID, and using the Gmail ID is created one account inside this VM. Okay, now take example, I want to access this VM from outside. Okay, from using any kind of SSH client. In that case, I have to click over here again. Okay, I have to click over here again. I have to go to where is that option? Key. Okay, give me 1 minute. SSH key device. What is here? Sorry, what I am doing? Edit. Okay, in edit, I have to go to option is that key. Okay, see, now I am putting one key over here. Okay, So what is the key I am taken here? The key which I generated earlier. Okay, I'm putting this key over here. Okay, now I'm just, so now I'm getting my own account to log into that. So I've just taken this key, I'm just saving it. Okay. Okay, now I will come back over here. Okay, now I have to access this. I have this public IP. I have to access this VM, right? What I can do right now, I will go here again. I have to save this private key. Okay. Server. Okay. Now I can go here. I can take the IP from this VM, copy the public IP, go it here, and then I can just take a session, SSH client, put the IP name. I will specify a name as well, Sagar, and use the private key. Private key I stored over here. Okay, okay, and this okay. See, authenticating with the public IP. Now you can see my name also here, and you can see you can access the folder also. So for example, now I am inside the VM. Okay, so for accessing it remotely, you need a key, and after that you can create your own account also inside that. Okay, this is the requirement. Okay, now you can see, right, my account is getting created under NTMS city. I can see the another account is Sagar. Okay, getting clear, Atul? Hello.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, fine. Now, one more thing I want to show to you guys. Let me create one more instance. Okay. I will take as a web server 02. Okay, I want to show you startup script part. Okay, USist one, right? Fine. Let me go to the HTTP, then management, and I have to put the startup script which I have taken from the notepad. Okay, so this startup script will launch one Apache site. Okay, on inside my VM. Okay, I want to show you that. Create. Okay, so if you see this, if you see the time, right, it take very less time to create a VM. See, I think 30 seconds, not more than that, if I'm right. Okay, so now if I click on this, see, this is if I click on this, it will launch a website. Okay, let me see what happened over here. Okay, 81. Edit. Children port 80 as well. Okay. So everything is right here. Nothing to change. Port 80. Let me go to default. Okay. VPC network. Just give me 1 minute, guys. Network default. Default US. Okay, I have to go to firewall. Network firewall. Okay, port 80 is open, right? It allowed me to complete that. Let me see. It's working. Fine. See, you can see the site. Welcome to my Google Cloud hosted web server This page is created by Sagar for demo. Simple is that I can launch it automatically. So the website, by using this command line, it will automatically get installed inside the VM also while doing the launching, right? So you can create your own VM with the site as well. Okay, now what next? Okay, so basically I have just shown you about the features of the VM, right? So inside that, if you tomorrow you want to change anything in the VM, for example, you want to scale up the VM, right? Then you have to go to this option and you have to click on edit. Okay, and through this you can modify your VM. Okay, so they are given the option over here to you, so you can change the instance type as well. Let me, I think it's edit mode. Let me see.
Rather, can you make your font size a little
I
bigger?
want to make it more. Let me see. Tell me now. You can see that. Is it
On
okay?
my eyes.
Let me know. Is it okay now?
Yeah, it's okay. Better.
Fine. Okay. Fine. So basically, if you want to increase the VM size or you want to change anything, so you can just click on edit and you can change it, your VM. Okay. So okay, I think one thing I forgot to inform you. So in this VM, I can increase the disk size. Okay. While even the VM is running, if I want to change the disk size, right now it is 10 GB, and if I want to make it 20 GB, I can do it. But if I want to scale up my instance, then in that case, I have to stop it. Okay, I have to just make it stop. Okay, I have to make it stop, and now I'm getting stop this VM. Okay.
Uh, Sagar, can you hear me?
Yes.
Hello.
Who is this? Yeah.
Hello.
Yeah. I can hear you, Amol. Yeah, please ask the question. Hello, Amol. I can hear you, Amol. Mm, okay, it is now stopped. So when I click on this, if I want to increase my instance size, then I have to go here, I have to edit it, and then I can change the instance size. Okay, so I can go for, if I want to go for any other instance type, small, I can do that. Okay, I have to just save it. Okay, I have to save it. So my instance type can change. Okay, so I talked about the Linux VM. Let me show you the Windows as well quickly. Okay. Hmm. Windows is very quite easy and same as a Linux. Okay, there's nothing much into that. But I want to show you. Only thing is that in Windows you have to create your own account and password. Okay, so let me take Win01. Okay, take the same region and zone, and then I can change my operating system. I can take the family as a Windows Server, and over here I can take the Windows Server 2012. Okay, when you take the Windows OS, your size will change to 50 GB. So this is a default size. You can change it any time. Okay. I taken the Windows Server. Now I can just to create Windows VM. Simple as that. Okay, it will create within 30 seconds, not more than that. Okay. Now, if you want to access this VM, I have to generate a password. Okay. So here you have, this is a requirement is that you have to create your password. Then if I click on the set Windows password, then you have to give the name, what account you want to create. For example, I am given name as a Sagar. Okay. Okay. And this is the password. Okay. I have to save it somewhere so that I can use it. So I'm saving this password over here. And then now I am taking a remote connection. I have to use this public IP. Okay, I can just go for an RDP client, put this IP. Okay, let me close this. Okay, RDP IP, and I have to just use that username password. Simple as that. It's very straightforward. Okay, so actually I'm in default VPC. That's why I'm in default VPC. That's why everything is allowed. Okay.
Sir, the password is very complex. Can we change? We can change that.
Of course. Yes. But it's a default password. You are getting the first time login, right? So once you log into the machine, after that you can change the password. You can keep it as whatever you want. So that is a system-generated password by Google, actually. What is happening here? Let me see. 1:1B. Let me see connection. Should be running.
Agar it is reachable from internet, but RDP is not happening.
But RDP is allowed actually. There is no need to do any kind of changes. RDP is already allowed, because we are in default VPC. That's why.
Yeah.
That's why. Let me again try. I think sometimes it's running backend, so that's why it takes time. See, I have not done anything.
Right.
Sometimes it takes time. Password. See, it's very straightforward. Nothing much into that. Okay. Okay, so I think after that you're aware about it. I have not to tell you anything about it, how to change the password and user password. Okay, I will not go into that, but remaining thing you can take it from your ends also. Okay, just as simple as that. So once you log into that, you can make it. You can set any password. You can create any number of users. Okay, make it admin, power user, whatever you want. Okay, so I'm just log off from here. Okay, fine. Now let me show you something else. Right now, the third point is that about the SDK, right? So I told you, right? I have whatever I created right now through the portal only. I created the Linux VM, Debian VM, as well as I created the Windows VM as well through portal only. Now, if I don't want to use this portal. I want to create multiple VMs in a one go. Then definitely this option won't help me, because there is no option you can get multiple VMs in a one once when you see the form. In that form only you can get option to create one VM at a time. But if you want to create 10 VMs at a time, then you have to choose any other option, like any kind of command line tool. Okay, so for the demo, I have just downloaded the Cloud SDK tool. Okay, when you download the SDK tool, it will ask you to choose your to set your project. So what I've done, I've set the GCP certification project. Okay, and then the next prompt, it will ask me to set your region and zone. Okay, so I have taken the US East US East 1 -B as my region zone. So now I'm in that zone, and now I want to create a VM, for example. So what I can do, there's a multiple option they have given us. I'm just taking a simple example. Okay, I don't want to go into much detail. So for example, I can just take this command. Okay, but before that, before taking this command, let me show you something. So that will be very interesting. gcloud is a command. You have to use this command every time when you play with any service resource. You have to use this command. Okay. So for example, compute. So if I want to do any kind of operation on compute, I have to use gcloud space compute, and then the next option, like next action, like I have to create, I have to give a create name. That is I'm going to show you. Okay. See, so you can use any option. Okay. You can use the gcloud command for any kind of services, but you have to use, the requirement is that you have to use the gcloud command first and then the next one. That is the for which service you want to going to use. Okay. So for my example, I'm going to use a compute. Okay. So if you see my command, I use the gcloud compute, then instance create. Okay. Instance create is the one step, compute is the one, and gcloud is the one. And then I given my parameter like VM1. So now if I put only this much command, this will also create the VM. See, again, it is very fast. You can see now.
So what will be the default configuration for this then? gcloud compute instance create VM.
Same one. I can show you here. This one. Only VM name I'm given over here, example, and it will take the default computation like Debian. It will take Debian OS. Everything will be same over here. Okay, nothing changed. So by default, it will set a Debian OS as your default VM, default operating system. Okay.
So you mean to say, like, if I have a very blank page on this, like GCP, I have not created any VM. If I run this command, so it will take all the default configuration and it will create the VM.
Yes, see the example right now. I just run the command gcloud compute instance create VM1, and you can see this command. See, everything getting created.
Yeah. System default will take and it will create a.
Yes. Simple is that. It's very simple and very fast. Okay. I think now. If
you want to go for the window machine, then is there any other different command or like?
I will tell you. I will go to that point. So definitely your question, right, Amol? See, now if I want to choose the operating system by my own choice, right? Then I have to use the parameters, right? See the next command which I am selected over here. VM2. I have to select an image. Okay, image, then image family. Okay, image project. Okay, and then this command is again optional. But now from where you can get this data, image name, image family, and image project. So I have to run this command. Okay, now I'm in a US East 1-B zone. So whatever image available over there, it will show me likely by running this command. Okay. Click on this. See. Now if I go up, you can see this. This is the name of the image. Project is CentOS Cloud. Family is CentOS. And okay, the deprecated. If it is deprecated, then it will show the S, but it's not deprecated. It's a ready. So you can take any operating system. So if I take example of Windows, you ask me the question Windows. So you have to select that. Okay, you have to select, for example, if I want to take the web server, so you have to select this one, family, image name, and you use these parameters to create the VM by your own choice. Clear? Any question, Amol?
Yeah, it's just got it. Awesome details. Thank you.
No problem.
Hey, okay. One last question.
Yes.
One last question.
Yes.
I'm going to select one more question. Suppose I created a VM. Now VM01 is my VM. Mm-hmm. Okay, whatever the VM I have created. I have installed the software over there, suppose like MX Player or some other software, right. Maybe say GNC or like, sorry, I'm going to say like any other software, Python and everything. So when my machine is now ready, that like one machine is ready. If I wanted to make the replica of this machine for suppose 10 users. It's my organization having 10 users who are working on the Java. Some 10 people are working on Python. So if I make one machine and if I want to create a replica of that machine, can I create that using command line or using this GUI interface?
That is my next point to show you, all of you.
Okay, yeah, I'll hold my question.
No problem. Oh, sure, no problem. See, now the next point is that now I have VM with me, the web server 002, and I have installed the Apache on this VM, in this VM. Now, I don't want to do it again and again, similar kind of work. Okay, what I can do, I can click on the create a machine image. I can click on this. This will create a private image. Okay, it will not be a golden image. Okay, it will be a private image that will be used for only for my region. Okay, so for example, I can give an example: web server 0102. What I can say, give the name clone. For example, check source is the web 02. It will take. Then, do you want to multi-region or regional? I want to multi-regional. I want to move this VM anywhere in location. Simple, and just have to create it. It will create the image. The image will be created over here in this section. It's very simple. Okay, but again, this is a image, is a private image. Okay, if I want to use this image, for example, I'm taking the image like web server 01. I'm going to create a new instance, for example. I'm just telling you that given the example. Okay. Okay, I don't know. I just want to show you this one. Change custom image. Okay, here under GCP justification, I can't see that image which I have just now created. It's a private image. Okay, this custom image only which is public, which is only you can see over here. Okay, I can see only one image over here. Okay, but not that one. Okay, so the point is that when you create any image, that image is considered as your private image. Okay, if I click on this option, compute, see in machine image, the two options they are given as optional: machine image and image. Okay, this machine image is a private image, and this is a golden image. Okay, and I can show you that as well. So if I click on machine image, you can find your image which just now we created, web server 02 clone. Clear? Okay, now they also give me option like I can use a snapshot, I can use the disk as well. So I'm just, the next point is that I'm going to show you that as well. Okay, so if I click on this compute engine disk, click on disk. Over here, I can see multiple option is that. So I can use this one of the disk and I can create a new disk as well. Okay, I want to create a new disk. I can get new disk. Sorry, my bad. I can get new disk, or I can use this web 02 disk and I can create a new snapshot, or even I can get new image as well. This option I can get through a disk also. Okay. Now the point is that now what about backup? Is a very important point. Everybody normally asking this question. What about backup? How can I take a backup? So snapshot is nothing but a backup. Disk backup. If you have the snapshot of disk, you can create a new VM. Nothing. It's very simple, straightforward. But how can I maintain the multiple version of snapshot? So in that case, what they have given to you, if you go to the snapshot option over here, they give an option you that you can schedule a VM. My bad. You can schedule your snapshot. If I click on this, okay, you can maintain the snapshot versions. For example, I am trying to schedule a snapshot is a daily snapshot to be taken for my VM, for example, and I want to keep a snapshot or not. If you want to get a snapshot after 14 days, I can do that as well. Okay, they are given this option as well, so I can create any snapshot, any number of snapshots. Okay. Okay, and the cost of snapshot is that how much size of your snapshot. On that basis, the Google will cost you. Okay, based on the size of the snapshot. Okay, then I can create a schedule, and based on that, I can create a multiple snapshot also. Okay, it's very straightforward. Nothing much into that. So this option, the option is more for me is that given is that either you can create a snapshot, either take a manual snapshot of your disk and do it on daily basis, or you can schedule it by using this command, using this feature. Okay, any question, guys? Clear, right? No further question on this. Okay, I will take it as. Fine. Then next is that image is also important part here. If I want to create a public image, okay, or the golden image, so that image should to be used every time when I create a new VM. Okay, so anybody who, if somebody, some person from other project, okay, he want to take my VM, take my image, sorry, take my image, so he can take it also. So I create image for other project as well. So for that purpose, I have to create VM and store it over here in this place. Only then he can see the image. If I create a private image, then the other project can't take that image. That is the difference between the private image and public image. Okay, so I can create image. Even simple step is that I have to just click on create image, image 1. Okay, Sagar 02 disk. I want to select disk snapshot or what you want disk. For example, source. What is source? Source is a web server 02. Okay, multi-regional. Family I will not add family. Family I will keep it blank because it's optional. And then create an image. What is I forgot? Okay, it is running actually. Sorry, I have to take it which is not running. Okay, I have to download VM1. I think so. It is. Let me see. Duplicate. We just top one. Okay. Fine. So web server 001 is stopped. Okay, then I can take this one. Web 001. Fine. Okay, and then I can create a new image. Fine. It's very simple. And now this image I can see when I create a new VM. I can show you that as well. Okay, just give me a couple of minutes. Let it complete. See. Now I can have the image which I can share within a multiple project as well. Okay. So okay, so you got the point, right? I can just show you this Apache Sagar image 1, right? I can get the point, right? I'm just getting VM under the VUS only. So when I click on the new VM instance, whatever image I created, that image I can get it. Okay, image I can take it, and using that image I can create a new VM as well. Okay, if I click on this option, change custom image, select a project will be selected automatically, and then I can see that image name. Okay, see, I think the other one is also available to me as well. See, I can take any one, and by using this image I can create a new VM also. Okay, so Amol, did I answer your questions, or still you have any other question?
Yes. Yeah.
Fine.
Thank
I
you.
think, yeah, no problem. And now let me show you something else. Okay, now I have done this. Image is this. Okay, so migrate computer engine is that you can migrate any VM from on-premise also. Okay, so I haven't done any demo over here, but I'm just going to show you that. Okay, you have to just take that. You have to just enable this API, and you can migrate any VM. You have to. There is some additional step over here which I am not covering right now. But this is just for migration VM. You want to migrate any VM from any VMware or from any Hyper-V, Citrix, you can do that as well. Now, what else? Okay, now this is a computer user discount is nothing but your reserve instance. Okay, I can show you that. If I want to do any commitment, okay, then I can do this reservation. The option is given to me, right? I have to, if I want to go for 1 year and 3 year commitment, then I can create these VMs. And I can take a reservation over here. Okay. Then what else? Metadata is just simple is one which I put it over here. So metadata is nothing but you have to it help you to segregate your VMs based on that. Okay. Even though you can run the query also using this metadata. So basically, you want by using the SDK, you want to run any query against one particular VM. Then you can use that metadata of that VM to run the query. okay, remotely as well. Okay, then they also given you health check. Okay, health check is not a part of monitoring. Additional feature they have given to you where you can set up a health check for your VM. If your VM is in production environment and you want to make sure that VM should be up always. If there is an issue happen, if there is any latency, if there is any kind of downtime happen on your VM, you should get notified in advance. So you can use this kind of health check to enable on your VM. Okay. And then okay, zone is okay. Operation I will cover in next lecture. And then now they started with the OS patch management. It is still in beta. So basically, if you want to patch your VM automatically, you can use this patch management feature. Okay. One more thing I want to show you here, guys. Let me take other route. Okay, API and services, right? So what action I am doing on my VM is nothing but an API. If I show you here, see, if you see that API call, what your action I'm doing currently on the VM, basically what your VM I'm creating, or any taking any snapshot, taking any disk, creating a new disk, or getting any image. So at the end, I'm doing the making API call to my VM. So you can see the count is that is 9,305. Till now, this much request I have made on my VM. Okay. So if I click on the compute engine, if you click on this, it will give me the additional option over here, right? So even though I can run the APIs on my VM, okay, APIs they are given you the option is this. If I click on this API, okay, let me show you quickly. Okay, almost we have done the 1 hour is cross. So if I go here, over here, so left side you can see this multiple resources. Okay, if I want to do the get disk, okay, or list disk, for example, if I click on the list disk, it will give me the option. See, if you see the right side, I have to just put the project name zone, and I have to just make a call, execute call. Okay, project. Let me choose the project from here. This is my project. Okay, GCP certification. Okay, and the zone. Zone is nothing but my US H1B. Okay. Now let me make a API call. I think it failed, but let me show you that as well. Okay. I have to choose my account. Okay, it failed. Why it failed? It's showing the permission is denied. So if my account doesn't have permission to run to make an API call, it will fail. Only it will run only if I have permission to run that. Simple as that. Okay. So they have given multiple options. So I just shown you in the previous slide. See, you can also use the APIs because API is something is very popular over here. So you have to use the API as well. Either you can go for SDK. It is a very handful tool, or you can also use the APIs as well. Okay. In APIs, you can give a lot of options. They are given a lot of options to you to choose. Okay. So I think I am covered almost which I have planned. Let me know if you have any questions into this. So I will take it up that question as well.